Satisfying games, same for the few.
The game is yours to play now.
The light provides.
This is Eventide Radio.
See how I feel, but, you know,
What are you eating, Scotty?
Scotty has the munchies.
Coffee cake.
Coffee cake. You gotta be eating mince pies. It's Christmas. Okay? Look, put something Christmassy on. Christmas hat, Christmas jumper.
I don't have one. I was looking for one.
Where's your spirit, Scotty?
I know. I have a an office, like
A YAML
the
key on.
office, like a Christmas ugly sweater, and it says like, have a Dwight Christmas or something.
Sure.
I can't find it. I don't know where it is, but I need to get it. The Yu-Gi-Oh Christmas sweater is awesome.
It's time to
so
Yule.
It's time to.
It's so good. It's so
I
good.
wore it to work. It was great.
What'd they think?
I had two students say, "Oh, you know what Yu-Gi-Oh is?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it's kind of my era."
Right.
They were shocked, and then I was slightly offended of how old they thought I was. So yeah. Oh, I've kind of got Yugi's hair color scheme.
Yeah, there you go.
I realised.
How old do they think you were?
I don't know, but I'm not going to say my age to them.
Yeah, they don't
because-
even know.
Yeah. No,
They
but
can use that against you.
but I don't. Well, yeah, but I don't know how old they thought I was either. I have been asked if I was 30 before, and I was, but this was when I was like 20. And I was, but this was by someone who was older than me as well. I think in their 40s, and I was very like, "Are you sure?"
That's funny.
I did have a big beard at the time, but yeah.
So what did I miss? What did we talk about?
We have been.
We were talking about So we're talking about controversies because we've sort of missed a few.
Oh, nice.
Mine is wrapped up under the Christmas tree.
It looks pretty cool.
This thing is so cool because it's
And then
motorized.
I'm now slanted.
It's really big.
Yeah. That's
Yes,
probably kind of the
I
correct
did
scale.
take it out of the- Yeah, have you seen Cade hold it? It's
It's big. It
very
is. It is to scale. It is called a hand cannon for a
Yeah.
reason.
large. It is, yeah.
Aptly named.
So we're talking about controversies, and we sort of briefly talked about Steam numbers, but that was off stream, so we will talk about that again.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the articles coming out of Bungie are hiring fans to play to work on Destiny, but they're paying them less, and we were sort of talking about that and the intricacies of being paid to work on games and in media in itself. But then I was kind of confused on journalists writing that, but then it's like journalism is like a media industry.
Right.
You'd know that you're paid shit. I mean, they know
Right.
that. So I'm not giving it a reason as to why and that you should be paid shit, but I'm saying like, yeah, media, TV, film, games, journalism, typically you're paid quite badly.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I know
Yeah.
it. You know, like it's not. I don't know why they were making a point of Bungie doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. And then to talk about the Steam numbers, because I'm so sick of seeing this. I don't know why
Can I just say?
everyone does this. Yeah.
I said this off stream. I said this is not just Destiny thing. This is any other game. Why do people base a game solely off the Steam numbers as if that is it? That is the only place it is played.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a reflection at large of community sentiment or how many people are playing the game in going down, but why are people like the one I was also saying is about Overwatch at the minute, obviously with Marvel Rivals coming out and people talk about Overwatch player numbers. They're like, look, the player numbers took a hit on Steam. It's like, yes, obviously there's going to be Overwatch players playing Rivals. That just is going to happen, obviously. But why is it that people were looking at Steam numbers to be the epitome of that's where people play Overwatch? Because console is a big place. It's on the Switch as well. Overwatch on the Switch with motion controls of 30 FPS. Okay.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah. But majority of people who play on PC are going to be playing on Battle.net because that's where it always was. I play it on Battle.net. I have Steam, obviously, but I still play it on Battle.net, and I don't know anyone who's. I know one I know one person out of like the 40 people I know who play Overwatch who swapped over to Steam when it came out on Steam. But I would say 70, pushing it 80% of the people on PC play Overwatch on Battle.net. So saying this is the player count is wrong. Yes, you can't see the player count on other things, and yes, it's going to be a common trend amongst them that a game comes out similar, it's going to dip. Yes, but saying that is the player count as a flat rate is not correct. Same with Destiny, where this is why I want to say, as across, you are out of touch apparently, because in your player count video you thought that more people play on Destiny on Steam than console, which is crazy to me. That you're a big community figure. I don't know why you don't know that. I don't know, maybe you forgot. I'm not being that mean on you. That more people on console play Destiny than on Steam, because the game, like, the game's quite taxing, and like Destiny 1 was on console, so the majority of the player base are going to be on console, like,
right.
So yes, the player numbers are down. It is a problem. Yes, Bungie needs to sort it. I don't, and we were talking about stuff, but saying that the 19k were on Steam that day is the only people playing Destiny is very funny.
Right.
Yeah. And poor journalism and just clickbait. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Like what we were saying, I think it's just there's a little bit of disingenuous kind of analysis to that. I mean, ultimately, like, I do think that it does probably proportionally reflect the player base on a decline as a whole. But yeah, I think it's completely unfair to say, like, oh, it's only 19,000 people. That's the clearest cut metric where it's like we don't really know how many people play on console, and like there's a sort of way you can judge it with certain apps track people, but that's only if they've logged into these certain apps, right, and used their services, which are shared like on Bungie.net. So there's like an estimate number, but there's not like a accurate one like Steam. Right. As far as I know, anyway.
I think it's kind of silly that we're still talking about this, because this happens like every year, and people are freaking out about the numbers.
Steam-wise, it's the lowest it's been. All right, we don't, and Rob said this. We don't know what the numbers were at Curse of Osiris. Right. When they said they were potentially looking at closing the game servers. Right. However, the one difference I'll say is also its money intake. Curse of Osiris had microtransactions, had bright engrams. Right. However, the Eververse store is different now, where you can just spend a bunch of money on loads and loads and loads of shit and not have to gamble. Right. I reckon they make more money from that than the bright engrams. I wonder what the money is looking like. Sure.
There's also like sales going on right now for all the expansions, and so like
the Legacy Collection is like, I think on the UK store at least, I think it was like 10 quid.
Right. Like, it's super cheap. Now's like a better time than ever to get in and play the game.
I mean, the Final Shape went on sale 2 months or a month after it came out.
Right.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Like, that is nuts. Like, I remember some Destiny expansion, I think Beyond Light didn't get a sale till like a year later. Right. Most expansions don't. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's like the time of year when other games are coming out and other people are getting games on sale and playing other stuff. So I feel like it's not necessarily like the end of the world for Destiny, but
I was saying, oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say there is. I think it's not like dire, like, oh, they're gonna shut the servers off soon because no one's playing. Like, I don't think that's where we're at. I will say there's a lot of like anecdotal, like you see people kind of talking like it's harder to find raids on LFG and like put teams together, and like so there's nights where I am literally the only person logged in and doing anything on either my clan or just like the people that I've made friends with over the years, where they're like, no one's on at all playing or doing anything. So it is like, anecdotally, I would say there is a noticeable drop off of just like, you know, now maybe that's unfair because typically the people that I play with are the hardcore raiders, and there's not really anything interesting in terms of raiding right now, and yada yada, like what have you. And I think ultimately people are just kind of feeling not burned out, but burned, in the sense that it's just like, I think it was Dado who put out a video recently of just like, it's just one bug after another, and it's just like, I totally get people don't even want to like play right now because it's just, I
haven't played Yawning yet because of the bugs that were going on
right.
The first episode. I don't want to get into that, so I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
I literally looked at the store because I was like, ooh, wings.
Right.
And then was like, oh, I don't really like them.
Right.
Well, closed the game because of the bugs. But...
Right. Well, and I got kind of lucky the first day, and I didn't have the bug. I was able to get my oven. I was able to like masterwork it, and I like the next day blasted through the whole quest just so I could get it done. And because I do like Glacioclasm or Chasm, and I did want to check out the new Linear Fusion, and I wanted to better Stay Frosty. So I have been playing the Dawning. I've been having kind of fun with it, but it is like every time I log in, I get like a pop-up that I need to complete one of the quests, or like it's getting really irritating, or like if I change characters, then it resets my oven and I don't have it masterwork until I can like craft a Galardoodle or whatever the hell it's called. And like, so I totally get why nobody wants to engage with it right now. Well, I mean, I think they for the most part fixed everything, like major, like you can select and get double perks and all that stuff. Like it's better, but if you start a new event and it hasn't changed in like 4 years and it's buggy as hell, and like most of the weapons aren't that interesting, like the glaive is dumb, like I get that, or even the heavy machine gun is like not that interesting. People are just like, meh.
Sorry,
no,
this is the nitpick for event weapons as a whole, and I think, I don't know if this is just me, they should stop making heavy weapons that are event weapons.
Probably
because it's like some heavies are just not going to be meta.
Right.
So there's that. But also you're going to use the gun more if it's a special or primary.
Right.
Or it's and I feel like, because I have no reason to get that. Well, as far as I'm aware, I have no reason to get that linear. Like it's
right.
a fucking linear. Why do I want some Christmas linear? Well, if you made a Christmas hand cannon or a Christmas auto rifle or a Christmas sniper or a Christmas shotgun or something like that,
right.
that would get you more, I feel like that would entice people to. I know that's such a weird small thing of, oh, it's a heavy weapon, but I do think that it would help if the event guns weren't heavy weapons.
Yeah, and they're it's a weird assortment of like most people don't like fusion rifles. Like I know I'm in a minority.
I don't like fusion. I don't like fusion.
And like I've accepted that, and that's fine. But it's just kind of like, it's just where we're at. Like it's not. It didn't push the needle. It's not that interesting. It's like it just to add on top of that, like you log in and it's just like bugging. You can't even get it done. I think there's a lot of people that kind of share the same sentiment as you, where it's like, oh, I got some free time, like work's kind of slow right now, I'm gonna catch up on some Destiny stuff. Oh, what's that? Like the quest doesn't work, and I still get the pop-up of like, oh, I unlocked my new subclasses. Like, how is that still a bug?
Yay,
like, yeah, it's just
I've
like
got the solar subclass.
Right, it's just like over and over, and it's just like the other day I logged in, I started playing like One Strike, and it was one of the battlegrounds. And it did this weird bug thing where we were in the Ascendant plane, and we couldn't advance past a certain part because it kept doing this joining allies, and it would snap us back to the beginning. And I realized that it was like, okay, we're just stuck. So I just like turned it off. Like I played for like all of 8 minutes, and it was just like, okay, cool, thanks game. Like I'm glad that you're trying to not explode yourself. Like that's, so I get everyone's genuine frustration. And to that point too, like, you know, there was that end of year roundup where they talk about the position that they're opening for, and like, oh, we're still looking at the you know, the whole crafting situation and whether or not we want to do it or not. And like, to Dado's point, where it's like,
crafting was good, and now it actually has ruined. I do think it's had a really. I know there's people in the community going, I don't have to grind anymore, but I really think it has like killed a lot of the momentum and drive to play the game.
Right.
Because.
But
yeah.
So part of Dado's video that I really liked, where it's like, they're talking about whether or not the feedback of crafting is good or not, and blah blah blah, if it's healthy for the game. But it's like, this is the worst possible season to gauge whether or not it's good, because the tonics didn't work for most of the season, and like everything about the season has been so effed up that it's like, what are you talking about with like general feedback, where it's like the game doesn't even work. Like, let's not talk about how the reception of the community is when you can't even make the system work to a way that's going to give you proper data. This kind of goes into like
if they want to test if random rolls versus crafty stuff, they need to do it in an expansion.
Right, exactly. Not like a random season where they're experimenting with this new tonic thing that doesn't work, or it does now. Like, I to be fair, the other night I was playing strikes. I was just doing like whatever. I just wanted to kill some time and get some dawning essence so I could make more cookies. And I put on a tonic, and every drop that I got was the shotgun. And so, like, to be fair, at least it seems like it's working now. And every roll you're getting is what you're, or every drop that you're getting is what you're targeting. So it works, but it's like, we're halfway through the season, and I think the damage is already done. Like, there's people that are just like, I don't want to play with this. Like, you've already wasted so much of my time. And that's how I felt with that stupid hand cannon at the beginning. Like, and I ended up just grabbing one from the season pass because it had the roll I wanted. So it's like it's completely not appropriate to go, well, I think we're breaking bones so that we can reset them and all that garbage, where it's like, no, the bones are still broken, and in fact, they've been put in a meat grinder. And now you're talking about mending things, where it's like, no, your data is completely garbage. And if you go look at the general feedback on the community, is that like, this didn't work. Like, I'm sorry, but like, and to your point, Map, like, they've already opened the floodgates of crafting, and I don't think they can put that away. And yes, it probably should be done on something like an expansion where those weapons can be retrieved forever and always. But to have it on a seasonal subset was like the worst possible idea imaginable. And that's why ultimately I think if we get to a point where if they do hire for this position, or positions at Bungie of like, hey, we just want people to play the game and give feedback on how the season plays out or how the expansion plays out, I guarantee you that's going to be one of those things where it's like, you know, the tonics are not a good idea, because I really want to just like turn all of my don't do weapon crafting, but then allow us to at least target farm with engrams that we collect the specific weapon that we want. Like, at a minimum, give us that, because if these weapons are going to be around forever, like, we need to have some way to control what our drops are going to be. And so it's like, maybe this position will be good because they'll start getting actual feedback from players who are like, this is a bad idea.
The problem that it faces, and it's the one sort of against the, oh, you're hiring fans, is that it's clear that someone there or people there don't actually like it when they put things that people want through. Like, do you remember when the character customization changer came out?
Right.
And one of the people who got laid off said, we've wanted to do that for years, since Destiny came out, and we've known how to do it, and we've had the idea to do it, and we've had the thing to do it for years.
Right.
But someone in management has said, no, don't do that, no, don't do that, and has blocked it every single time. Right? Because I guess it wouldn't make them money, or I don't know, or right. In their eyes it was a waste of time. So clearly there is someone there, or something there, or a blockage.
Right.
Going, nope, don't do that. No. So there could be hundreds of shit that we've wanted and that the community has wanted, And maybe there's a bunch of devs I'm not saying... I do agree that you would have to overhaul the whole game if you wanted dedicated servers, because the game is not on a separate thing. You would have to change the whole game.
Sure.
But maybe at one point, all the devs went, look, we need dedicated servers. And someone in management went, no.
Yeah, we're not paying for that. Yeah.
No, we're not doing that. Or we want... transmog, someone pushed out transmog. It needs to be free. No cap on it. You shouldn't pay for it. And they've gone, no. What, and if you get a fan, obviously I'm not saying that they can't do any good, but if you get fans in and they say what people actually want, they actually give the the actual fan feedback.
Right.
I'm not saying that that's not already happening.
Sure.
Who is stopping that?
Right.
Because it's clear that is happening.
Right. And you could be right. That could end up happening, right? You hire these people, and then they give earnest quality feedback, but you still have people up above that are like, yeah, we're not changing that. Like, no, it's a terrible idea. Like, because I was even reading a forum post where it's like, can we stop with this? Like, it's very clear that all they care about is number of logins a day, right? Like, that's the bottom line, that it seems like what they care about. And it's like, can we stop that as like the narrative? Because it's like, this is not how you sustain players. Like, it seems like such a short-sighted, like almost like a gym membership mentality, right? Like, the idea is we just want you to buy the membership. We don't actually want you to use the gym. We just want you to buy a membership and forget you have
the gym.
No, but that's exactly the model. And I worked at a hacker space when I was in college that did the exact same thing. Like, you could go and use all this equipment, and what's that?
What was it, sorry?
It's called a hacker space. So the idea is like makers can go, like it was a metal shop and a wood shop and textiles and 3D printers and all this stuff. So I used to teach classes there when I was in college, and you had to pay a membership like you would a gym to have access to the tools, and you had to pay for classes. So that was kind of like a way to sustain. But what they wanted you to do is, because it was in the Silicon Valley, they wanted people to like pay for a membership, but then you like forget that you have it on auto pay, that you just never come in and use it.
That's how most gyms make money.
Right, exactly. And I feel like that's kind of what they're going for, is they want you to just like buy the expansion and just kind of like, oh, let me log in. Like, it feels like kind of a not sustaining model for
it's
what's
like
actually going to get.
With some services, the way you pay a subscription.
Right.
Destiny is kind of, it's not a subscription,
right,
but it also is at the same time. Like, if you're playing like every day,
right,
and you're paying 80 quid for the annual expansion, deluxe stuff, so you get everything throughout the year, right? The amount of money you're spending a day is like it works
trivial
out in value wise.
Right.
It's you get your money's worth.
Sure.
It's just like I go to the gym, I pay so much a month. It's more, because it's a health club, it's more money than say a gym. But I go most days, like, sure. And for a while, I mean, only work reasons I don't go every day. But at one point I was going every day, sometimes twice a day.
Sure.
Right. I was fucking getting my money's worth, right? And yeah, they make the money from people who go like once a week or once every few weeks, because they just forget. But obviously with Destiny, it doesn't really work like that.
Right.
So it's not a subscription. And if they moved to a subscription model, I reckon they would just make less money. 100%.
Right. And I think it like you said, it kind of basically works out that you can, divide it up by the number of days, and your dollar spent is fine. But it's like, I think you could get like one of the so I'm kind of pulling from because I like watching people's kind of thoughts on like these events like the Dawning and stuff like that, and Dado gave good feedback of like, it's really stupid that here we are 4 or 5 years later, and still the most optimal way to get feedback or Dawning essence and ingredients is to just farm Duel and Karu over and over and over again, and in the span of like an hour you can get hundreds if not thousands of Dawning essence and make all the cookies you want and get all the weapons you want. Well, obviously they want you to just like run strikes and do that, but here we are where it's still just, if you're playing the game and trying to game the system, all you're doing is just farming Duel and Karu. And is that really what they want you to do? Like, why is that? Like, it's not sustainable and really not that interesting. And I think and then Fallout kind of had similar feedback, but part of his feedback also was like, what they should do is once a day at refresh, have one particular event be weighted so that it gives you like ridiculously more essence. So then it's like, oh, now when you complete a Gambit match, not necessarily win, but just complete, now you're getting like 40 or 50 dawning for that day. And then
every day it'd be Gambit, then Crucible,
exactly,
then Strike, and then something else and something. Yeah.
Right, because now you have people playing completely different activities and engaging stuff. And then if you want to go at your bottom line, the number of people that are logging in and doing core playlists, now that heavily beefs up your numbers, and not just, oh, well, people are just farming Duel and Karu for a few hours, getting the ingredients, getting the weapon they want, and then bugging out for the rest of the activity. It's like, how are these things not thought about or planned out? Like, we have seen this over and over again where people will load into that Nightfall mission at the beginning, go into the drop pod, complete it, and then reload it, right? Because that's the other ideal way to get ingredients. And it's like, we do this over and over and over again, and the feedback is the same over and over and over again. And it's like, it is the least amount of effort put into these events, and then they wonder why no one engages with them, because they're buggy, it's not interesting, and it's just the same over. And it's like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, sentiment is so low at this point, and everyone is just fed up. And then on top of that, like, well, we can talk about Contest of Elders, because I've actually done it quite a bit, where it's like, you get so little from running a Contest of Elders, it is not worth your time. But it's like, but that's the new activity. I want to run that, but I also want to run things that are going to give me Dawning Essence so that I can craft cookies so I can get the new weapons, because I can't craft them. That's fine. It's a special, but it's like, so what's the best use of my time? Well, I'm running the same strikes over and over and over again because that's a better use of my time. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't. It's so frustrating. Like, that's where I'm like, okay, yeah, find fans and let them give feedback. Where I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna play this Dawning event, but you do realize I'm just gonna go run Duel and Karu. Like, are you gonna fix this again, or are we just gonna, like, this is what people are doing? So, like, that feedback needs to be given, and it needs to be like blatantly, like I want hardcore fans who know how to like completely game the system just go and blatantly go, yeah, I finished this in 10 minutes because it's just way easier to do this than, I know you want me to play strikes, I'm not doing that. Like, come up with a reason for me to play strikes. Have wacky mods and not just snowballs that, again, don't work for like the 19 millionth time. If you upgrade it too quickly, you can't get kills with them. Like, it doesn't register. Like, how is that still a bug after like 5 years? Like, why?
Yeah.
Sorry.
They don't. No. They don't care about seasonal events, and they haven't for years. It's just been the same shit over and over and over and over again.
But it's a new set of armor that they can sell. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. And then I'm glad you brought up Contest of Elders, because I want to talk about that too.
Yes.
Because I think Contest of Elders is a fun activity, but like you said, like, I don't need another seasonal pulse rifle. Like, at a certain point, I'm like, no, I've got enough of those now. I mean, this is the end of Act 2. I don't really need more seasonal pulse rifles, and that is all you get, is just the same seasonal weapons that they've had since the beginning of the act, or not the act, but the entire episode, whatever you want to call it. And it's just, you like you say, you don't get anything, and then you get like some tonic essence, so I can get more of the stuff that I'm already getting.
And they barely drop. So if you're trying to like unlock all the tonics, you're farming it a lot. So so let's switch gears and talk about Contest of Elders, because there's kind of a lot to unpack. So the activity itself is fine. I was horribly disappointed and truly naive. I thought we were going to get like a rotation where every week it was going to be different bosses, different activities. Like you can go load up D1 now if you want and play Prison of Elders, or what's the one they added with the April update, the Challenge of Elders, and you get a completely different experience every time. Like, Prison of Elders has kind of like a set rotation after like 4 or 5 weeks. But hell, that has you logging in and week out, because it's like different modifiers, different bosses, different rooms. Oh, now the floor is lava and it's solar burn. Like, oh, geez, I got to find a barrel to stand on. Like, it's a little cheesy, but it's completely different the week before. Like, it's cute that they added Psylocke the Defiled and he thirsts for your light, but he's like they so missed the opportunity to do the intense voice, and like that's what everyone wanted, and then they just they squandered it. But it's like there's no reason to go back after like 1 or 2 times. And then of course the chest has been bugged until like this week, where that leftmost chest doesn't give you rewards. So again, it's not worth my time, and I've already been I've already been burned by the leftmost chest is bugged. I think they fixed it now. I haven't played Challenge of Elders because it's not worth it's not worth farming Dawning doing that, or Onslaught. Like again, like the 2 activities that you should be playing the most right now, they should be just pissing away Dawning Essence. Like every time you kill an enemy, you should be getting Dawning Essence or something, right? Just make it so worth my time to run that, because you want to engage, you want to show, oh look, everyone's playing the new seasonal activity, but we're not, because it's not worth their time, because maybe we do want the linear fusion rifle. That's kind of neat, like, and so it's like, so it was done better in D1, and I feel like this is the time where they need to start making like interesting lateral movements, where they need to start shoring up the core playlist. And I think Onslaught was a great step in that direction. Here we have a horde mode that we're adding new maps to, and I think the new maps that they added were pretty decent, except for the one, unfortunately, on Europa, which is in Eventide area. Unfortunate for us.
I know.
But it's like, here we got, and this is something that I think we talked about a while ago. It's like Onslaught's a great platform of like, you have the bare bones skeleton there, just keep cycling through new maps, because then it'll freshen things up. Oh, they even added like new traps and tools, and like you can get in a turret now. Like that's awesome. Like keep iterating on it. And I think Contest of Elders could have been another great way of like, you've got this base area that you've built. Now just keep adding new enemies and new bosses, and like it's a prison, so it makes sense that you keep interning new enemies into the cells that you have to then destroy. Like it's such a great platform to expand upon and add it to the core playlist, but it feels like it's just going to go away at the end of the season because there's nothing there, and they didn't put the effort into having it be like a sustaining playlist that it could have been. And I'm glad Onslaught did. Like I'm glad that we got 3 new maps. I think Onslaught has a lot of replay value because there's so much that you can kind of play around with build crafting and then the other kind of piece, and I was also kind of naively hoping, but considering that they've fumbled this so many other times in the past, people brought up this would have been a great opportunity to add some of the old Prison of Elders weapons back into D2, and I think really would have like it's like it's a whole new playlist of these are weapons that I can only exclusively get in here. Hell yeah, I'm gonna play the hell out of that activity. But instead, it's like, nope, it's the same shotgun and all that stuff that you can get in any other activity, and it's just like, it's just such like, you know. And that was when Season of the Undying came out. Everyone was kind of like naively hoping that maybe they'll bring back a Mago loop, or like the seaweed towel for Titans, like that would have been a cool little like. I know people don't like the seaweed towel, but at least
I've been trying to find something on my phone.
It's totally fine.
I have been listening.
No, it's fine. But it's like everyone was like, "Oh man, bring back a Mago loop would have been a cool little like."
Fucking seaweed towel, get that shit out of here.
But it was.
Nah, I got fucking penis seaweed. No.
Yeah, that's fair. But like translating that to like the warlock and hunter class item, that would be kind of neat. But they didn't do it, and that was a big piece of feedback where it's like, this would have been a cool little like nod to bring back, because that was before Vogue came back as a raid. So it's like, here you have that gun model, and you could have had random perks on it, and it would have been really neat.
Funny. I liked at the time everyone was like, oh my god, it's Fatebringer, but it's in the Taken King era, so we can use it now.
Right.
They did that with Midnight Coup.
Right.
Oh my god, fucking weapon reskin.
Right.
Yep. So one thing
but give people something to like get excited about, right? Like
no weapon reskin.
Well,
weapon reskin.
It's something you
know. Anything you like.
If they brought back like, okay, so what are I'll pull up my D1 dim, because I have a couple of the Prison of Elders weapons that I actually liked, and I think for the most part, like where's the I feel like a jerk. I can't find it.
I wish I would take a weapon reskin over nothing.
I don't think.
I was looking in the wrong account.
That's really weird seeing the chaperone in solo though.
Okay, so people really like Aegis of the Reef. That was like one of those like fast firing pulse rifles.
Iron Reef D. I want that. Give me that. Please.
Hand of Judgment was an amazing scout rifle. You had the Stolen Pride hand cannon. People like that. Where's the shotgun? Like they had.
I've got a Servant of Axor in my vault. In D1, and it's a 170, so it's a year 1 version,
right?
And it's got hidden hand and demotion on it.
Demotion? Is that the one that does more damage to dregs?
No, this weapon has a chance to stun fallen captains.
Oh my god! What's that?
I
guess it's better than Shank Burn, right? Like,
yeah, but they were cooking with that because we got Saber 2.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like I feel like it would have been cool to bring back, or to bring back Drake's Promise as like an exotic.
I've got so many Burning Eyes Adept and Blind Perdition Adepts in my vault for so many for no reason. But no, I've got fuck all heavies. I've only got a Baron's Ambition, Bretamar's Stand. I can't pronounce that. The Hothead and a year 1 Galahorn. Like I think the first Galahorn that I got are all just that's it.
Yeah.
In my vault, that's it. Heavy weapon wise, like there's nothing else.
Sure.
I've got 1 Dark Drinker on my Titan, and oh yeah, tier 12. You love to see
it. The point is like this, bringing back the spirit of Prison of the Elders, and they just did it in the kind of the lowest minimum viable product. I feel like that's just kind of the theme of the year of like everything that we're getting now. It's just like I didn't want them just to reskin Prison of Elders. Like I thought maybe they were going to do that, where literally it was just going to be the same map.
I can't lie, I was kind of hoping that they just reskin.
I mean, it's cool that they got like you get to explore more of the prison. I think it's a cool area that they built and kind of they keep expanding on, and I like exploring and kind of like the transitions like maybe kind of run a little bit long and are unnecessary, but they're still cool, and there's something. But it's like. This would have been a great opportunity to do a little nod to the original Prison of Elders, but they just kind of fell flat, unfortunately, and there's not much replay value outside of like trying to get a couple of the weapons and the tonics for it if you're doing that kind of stuff. But it's just like they did it so much better in D1, and it's like it feels like they don't even know why people liked it in D1, because it's like because it had a lot of replay value, because it felt more roguelike in that than it does in D2, and here they have like the audacity to call it roguelike, and it's like have some cool elements, like let us pick the modifier, like kind of like what they did for Deep Dive. Yeah,
I was upset with when they were saying like, oh, this is going to be a roguelike thing, and they were comparing it to the Coil, which I think is, in my personal opinion, it's like my favorite seasonal activity they've released with this season. And I'm like, oh, I'm so excited, this is going to be awesome. There's really like no roguelike mechanic. I mean, calling like the Warden's what is it? Whatever the status you have with the Warden's favor, like that does not count. That's not enough.
They didn't even bring back fucking Cabal strategist Val Arun. Come on.
I know.
True.
I know.
I was very sad.
And they
I wanted like a currency to buy buffs and buy stuff like the Ascendant class. I thought was really cool, and we need like you said, like, oh, maybe we get to choose the buffs or the the modifiers or whatever, and it would be nice to have that sort of agency to make things a lot more interesting instead of just play the game, complete the objectives.
Like, the Coil, I think, was a perfect, or Deep Dive. I think both of those did it well, where it's like you get to choose, like it gets progressively harder, and really by the end, like by the time you're at the end of Coil, like it is kicking your rear end if you didn't choose good buffs and just kind of like like and it really does. It did feel like each experience was a little bit different. Obviously, like there were people that had kind of optimized the like all the melee buffs with Syntheseps and all that, and you're just like ripping and shredding through everything. So there's kind of some balance that could have been done. But like to your point, like if you got, ×3 Warden's Favor, you got more currency at the end that you could then use on like a better buff or more sub buffs. Or you could hoard it all for one big Omega one at the end where like maybe you gamble all of it for like a bigger chest or something where it's like just something that gives some replay value. But it's like, I remember the first week I played it, I'm like, okay, this is cool. Let's see what happens next week. And it's like when it dawned on me that it's like, oh, they're not adding like Psylocke the Defiled's it.
It was funny because you were saying, oh, there might be more bosses, and I went on the Triumph thing, and I got the Triumph for killing all of the bosses.
Right?
And I was
yeah.
like, no,
and once I got that unlocked too, I'm like, oh, this is it. Yeah, and it's like, it was done better in D1, and yeah, I mean to be fair, when they developed that for House of Wolves, like that was the end game activity, right? And so like they had to put a lot more time and effort, but it's just like taking a lesson from how that was received. And I think that's really when I really got into Destiny, and I spent a lot of time playing Prison of Elders, and part of that was also so you could get those cores that you could bring everything up to light 365, so you could like everything was relevant, and like Skolas was actually a really cool fight with the whole like poison trading mechanic, and you have to like dismantle mines, and like it was a really good, interesting fight, and a super awesome activity that I think was just half-baked for this. Like truly, genuinely, like I think they missed the mark, and it's unfortunate. I had high hopes for what Prison of Elders or Contest of Elders could be, and it just wasn't it.
Yeah. Speaking of Skolas, why are we bringing him back? Why do we just keep bringing people back to life?
Hey. Skolas is the coolest looking fallen.
He is.
He's just a fallen captain.
No, it's the horns on his back and the fur. It's cool.
Yeah.
But why is he back to life? Why are we bringing him back to life?
Because we brought Cade back and people liked that. So. I know. It's like we're resurrecting villains that we've already dealt with like years ago.
No reason, just for like, hey, remember this guy?
Right.
He's back. Oh my god. Okay. Let's bring everyone back at this point, because this is what we're doing. Oryx is coming back. Savathun never died, obviously. She is a ghost.
Right.
Everyone's immortal, apparently. Yeah. So,
well, I was reading something or watching something, and someone's like, really, what they need to do between now and when Frontiers or whatever the new expansion comes out is we just need to go on like a megalomaniacal tirade and just kill everyone and everything, and it's just like everyone's gone, everyone's dead, new planet, new like home, just because I'm so tired of like fighting Fickrell, and I was reading something where it's like, do we really trust Aramis? Like she's so evil and stupid, like it's such a like, oh, we let her go because it's the right thing, or like, and it's like, what are we doing? Like it's so frustrating. Just the plot of this is so uninteresting, and it's like we all, and I feel like everyone already kind of knows now, like Mithrax is gonna die, and he's gonna come back as a light bearer. Like I'd be willing to put like money on the table right now.
I kind of hope so.
Yeah, but it's like, it's such a, like, they're setting it up so like blatantly and clearly that it's like, all right, that's fine, but just like be a little more clever or creative. I don't know. It's fine. It's a seasonal story, but
I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Okay.
And support some parts of the story. Aramis they've been building up her arc a little bit with in previous seasons with her like whole redemption thing, with her saving Ido and Mithrax's lives and stuff. Like she's been doing like good things in the past. Maybe releasing her from prison wasn't the most logical decision we could have made. So. But it's there. It's not perfect, but they're trying. And I like that they're bringing Nezarec back into the fold a little bit, like involving him in some distant way, and the fact that like Mithrax is like consumed by Nezarec or whatever, and I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with him. That's gonna be cool. That's all I got. I was just about to say something I didn't like, but I was trying to be devil's advocate, so I'm gonna stop talking now.
Well, no, I mean it's fine. It feels like right now, like if Frontiers is meant to be like a fresh start, like yeah, maybe it's not D3, but it's like we're going somewhere probably out of Seoul. That concept art looks really awesome. Like I am more than anything else excited about that. Like I want to be positive. To your point, like devil's advocate, like I want to be positive. I think Frontiers has the potential to be super awesome. And if it's like we're hijacking the Dreadnought so that we can go to whatever location that is, I think that's kind of like what everyone assumes the plotline is. That's super awesome. Super on board with it. But like have us at least have some kind of sense of like completion. Like I'm not even really sure if we technically killed Lakshmi at the end of the previous season. Like she got Nova bombed into the lake.
Cares? Oh my god, that cutscene is so bad.
Who cares?
Right, but it's like, I was really hoping, like, it'd be unfortunate if they started her plot line and then ended it in one season. But at the same time, it's like, is she dead or not? Like, it's really not clear. And then with this, like, I really hope that we kill Fickrell once and for all and just kind of like end this. Like, I'm fine with there being residual scorn and insert, explanation X, Y, or Z because there's still some of the kind of corruption and there's Fallen that were corrupted differently way out in the micro different universe somewhere. Like that's fine, keep the scorn as an enemy, but like we got to kill Fickrell off. It's getting really, really annoying. And like stop bringing people back. Like now's the time to be like finishing things off so there's a sense of like completion and really like we are going into a new frontier and it's exciting. Like I really do hope that in the next season, the whatever it's called, that we actually finish off Oryx's sister, and just like Zivu Arath. I could not think of her name. Like finish her off, not some like, oh, she's retreating to another dark place. Like, no, let there be some sense of completion. Like we finally, when we defeated the Witness, it was like one of the most like done fights that I've ever felt because they did do a good job of actual like permanence and death. And it's like they need to do more of that.
Yep, I agree. I wish they did something interesting too with Fickrell, as I think Fickrell's boring as an antagonist because the whole thing with him and Aldrin and him being like, I did this all for you, father, and Aldrin's like, I'm not that guy anymore. You misunderstood what I stand for these days. Like,
right,
that whole like dynamic has been done so often in other media before. I feel like I've seen it like a million times before.
Right.
And it's just like the most obvious boring thing they could have done with his character, I feel like.
Yeah.
So it's just like I don't know.
Completely
it's
agree.
Not interesting.
Yeah.
It's too bad, because you know what? All that being said, though, better than Echoes. I am more interested in this season narratively than previous season.
Yeah. I do think the battleground strikes that they added to Echoes were cool, where you're like descending into the core of Nessus, and it felt like it would be really cool if you could play all three of them in succession, because it does feel like a coherent, like, oh, we're diving deeper, oh, now we're diving deeper, oh, now we're going even deeper, like that was well done. I do agree. Most of, like, I think the exotic quest was kind of meh. Like, they keep doing these things where they like, oh, it's the largest play space we've ever made for an exotic mission. It's like, who cares if it's not fun? Like, that doesn't do anything. Like, that's such a weird thing to be proud of, where it's like, is it going to be around afterwards? Okay, well then why'd you make it so big? And like, it's just like these weird things that they keep kind of reporting on, where it's like, why don't you make more PvP maps? Like, take half of that space that you created and turn it into a PvP map. Then I think people actually get kind of excited. Like,
exactly.
It's just weird stuff like that. Like, I want to be excited and I want them to be proud of these things. Like, obviously it's like great achievements and really cool stuff, but it's like, I keep going back to this. Like, if they're hiring a position where people are, they hopefully they're going to listen to feedback from these people playing it, where it's like, yeah, I didn't like this. And hopefully those people, whoever gets hired for it, can actually give good, earnest, solid feedback of like, this doesn't work because of blah. Like I really do think in my heart of hearts, if they had someone for like the exotic class items, who could actually test what that gameplay loop was like. And I'm not talking about Dual Destiny. I think that's a great mission. I think it's a cool way to unlock them. But if at the end of it, it's like, oh, you mean there's 64 combinations for every character, and I have no way of like storing them all without taking up 190 spaces in my vault, because let's be honest, I'm going to want to try every permutation because they always change things and change aspects and fragments. And
now we have the issue of with the armor. Well, they're changing armor, aren't they?
Right. And that's good, but it's like they have not addressed vault space in any earnest way. They
did say they're doing something.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they mentioned it, and it's like, yeah, but what are you doing?
What are you doing? Because it's right now, you can't just go, oh, we're going to give you 100 more things. Like that's still playing catch up with the ergo sums and the exotic class items.
I have... Yep. How much space do I have? Alright, there's stuff in my vault that probably should go at some point.
I have 617 out of 700 full.
678. And I have no exotic class items stored or ergo sums because I don't use them.
Right.
I am in a minority of that.
That's fine.
Oh, no, I have 2 ergo sums, sorry.
But I have 5 warlock exotic class items that I cycle between because I like playing with them. Like I've got a necrotic grip claw, I've got a tangle with Spirit of Inmost Light, I've got an Osmomancy Verity one, like, and I like playing with all of them for different reasons. And I've been hoarding tons of Titan ones and playing, like, it's the Titan class items have got me playing PvP with Titan, which I never thought I'd say, because there's some kind of fun, like, using.
What I was gonna say is, should we hop on Destiny at some point and actually play the game?
We should, not today. I have a thing that I have to do soon. No. But
I have to play the game.
I know.
Imagine.
Speaking of, have you gotten your PS5 set up yet, Scotty?
Yes, it is fantastic. Oh my god!
Welcome to the modern age.
It is like a new game. It's like night and day. I booted it up. You guys are playing with like load times that are like astronomically faster.
More?
No.
Oh, damn.
I'm just kidding.
Really?
As soon as it did make me want to play the game more, but then I downloaded Marvel Rivals and
damn.
I was like,
I'll play Rivals with you, Scotty, as well.
It's pretty fun, but I don't know.
I
with
do
this
think
season,
the
I checked
fun
out.
will wear out with current balance and.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah. Once I got Icebreaker, I was kind of done with the season. You know, Vesper's Host was the best part of the season for me, I think. I had a lot of fun digging into that dungeon, but as soon as I got that, I was like, I don't know, contest isn't really worth running, and I did all the stuff from Act 1. I've run Onslaught, and I'm done. I've done everything I wanted to do.
I've done like one Onslaught this season.
Have you, like the 50 wave one?
No.
You haven't done any 50 wave Onslaughts?
No, not
really?
This season. No.
They're
you should do it.
They're pretty fun. I do. There was such a problem with the old Onslaught, like with the boss arena and kind of the places where you could hide, and like I feel like it forces you to engage with the boss and the enemies way more, and it gets pretty hairy, especially like towards the end, even on normal. Like I find the new Onslaught maps to be fun. I like going all the way up to 50. I like kind of playing with different builds. Like I don't know, I like, maybe I'm not the metric of people, but it's like when I got Icebreaker, I started using it in a bunch of builds because it's fun to just like freeze something and then just boom, pop, explode everything like around it. And I like took it into Onslaught and used it a bunch because it's fun. And that new sidearm I've been using a ton because it's awesome and fun. Like and that stupid hand cannon that I was farming for ages, the Rhyme Stealer Headstone, I've been using a ton of, and it's fun. Like I get that some people like Scotty, like you got what you wanted and you're done, but like I don't know, like it makes me want to play it more because I got the thing that I was hoping to try out in the new activity, and it's like
yeah, no, I get that absolutely. I made like a whole. Well, I guess I'm a little different because I was lucky enough to get my Rhyme Stealer Headstone hand cannon really early in Act 1, and I made a whole stasis build around it, and I played with that for a while, and now I'm kind of done with it.
Yeah.
And as cool as Icebreaker is, I suck with sniper rifles, so I'm not going to use that very often.
I haven't.
I ended up getting a second.
I wish I could trade it to you.
I ended up getting a second rhinestone headstone hand, like
really
exuviate. Yeah, it's terrible. Like it's got like the worst possible rolls on it. But it was like, okay, I finally got another one. The one that you can pull from the season pass is better. But it was like, okay, I'm not a complete like, I'm SOL. So just for the sake of actually getting it, it was nice. But yeah. The season has cool stuff. It's just I've been having trouble like finding people in my clan to play with. Like after GMs came out and they added the node where you could just burn through all of them in a week. Like I kind of hate, like there's certain things that I kind of wish they time gated more, because it actually got a few of the guys in my clan to like jump on every week and at least do some activities where it's like, oh, we can do this, and then oh, now that we're done with the GM, let's go like I convinced them to do some onslaught or like run a contest of elders one night. But now it's like, well, I got my conch gilded, I'm done, and it's just like, crap, like, so now I'm just like solo queuing in a bunch of stuff. I actually did play Trials the other week. I know, like I was hoping to see Map's head turn. I got an amazing summoner, and I'm so glad that I played Trials. Like it is like
you know what? Do you know what game mode I want to play currently? You're gonna be like, I want to play Mayhem.
Yeah, I do too. Mayhem's
Mayhem
awesome.
In rotation? I don't know. I haven't been on.
It was in rotation like 2 weeks ago, and I missed out because I was playing Trials. And by the time I was done,
what I just put in is I finally got I've wanted that Assassin's Creed helmet for ages, and I didn't want to pay for it. That is I know I'm a Titan main, but 6-shooter golden gun is my favorite super in the game.
And you get a lot of them in Mayhem.
Down. Right. Yeah.
Right.
And that is like my perfect gunslinger hunter fashion. And having that loadout, I'm like, right, I want to go just kill people with 6-shooter in PvP.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
So, that's my drive to play Destiny at the moment, which I haven't been doing.
Okay, well, next time Mayhem comes around, we'll stream and play Mayhem all night. Just like there was that night where we did Team Scorched and we streamed, and that was like that was a lot of fun. Just Team Scorched is so stupid and
you need
wonderful.
To be put in a rubber room, mate. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but it's like, but see, that kind of stuff goes back to like why. Like I was chatting with some coworkers the other day, and we were reminiscing. I hate using that term. About how awesome Griff Ball was, and like there would be those weekends where it would be like there would be like a Griff Ball.
I don't know what that is.
What?
Oh, because you don't play Halo.
Right. It was a Halo 3 game mode where it was basically like capture the flag or soccer, where you grabbed a skull in the middle and you had to get it to the other side, and the only weapons that everyone had were either like hammers or energy swords, and it was just chaos and madness and stupid, and like. Sometimes you'd actually get into a rhythm where you could use the gravity hammer like super efficiently, but it was like just a bizarre game mode that like didn't matter, but it was fun to play because it was like you just get with your buddies and talk mad shit for like hours. And that's what Team Scorched.
Yeah.
Team Scorched feels like an attempt at a cool Halo play mode, and I wish there was more stuff like that. I don't know what else you could do other than like swords, like have everyone just have unlimited sword ammo. And like that's what you're doing. Like I would love if they did something like that, where just have fun with the game. Like I don't know why they're so afraid to do stuff like that. Because every time Team Scorch comes around, I do try to like log in and play it a couple of times, but there's no one with me, so it's like not as fun. Like that's one of those games that survives only on the social aspect of it, and like.
Well, I wish they would implement something like the most fun I have multiplayer on Halo, especially in like recent years, like playing like the Master Chief Collection with friends and stuff, is like custom games and stuff is like all we would play. And I know we're like light years away from having custom games or something in Destiny, but just more like options, like you said, just for like goofy fun stuff would be nice, because that's where like a huge bulk of like the social fun is.
Right.
Is just those stupid game modes that are just
right
goofy and
like
fun.
Like when the crafting was happening and everyone had the shotgun auto rifle. Yeah, it made that PvP weekend, like, if you were trying to actually take trials seriously, like, it wasn't going to happen. But man, everyone jumped in and had fun playing stupid auto rifle shotguns, or like
there's a reason most people look back on those events like fondly, like when they're like, wow, Prometheus Lens was broken that week, and they're like, but no one looks back on it like, God, this game was so broken and just like awful. No, people like look back on it and they're like, damn, that was kind of fun.
Right.
Like,
and that was the other thing I was gonna say. Have a weekend or have a game mode where trace rifles are just like stupidly OP and busted like that again. Like, have everyone get a Prometheus Lens and just have it be dumb and outrageous, and have like super high XP gains for PvP that week, so you can like, all right, well, I don't normally like PvP, but everyone's just screwing around with trace rifles, and at least I'm getting like a couple ranks like out of this. Like there needs to be an embracing of the silliness and fun, because I do think that's one of those things, a part of the secret sauce that made Halo what it was. And yeah, I think the Forge is another one of those things where it's like being able to customize maps and all that stuff. Like, I agree, we're light years away from that. But man, there's so many things like that I think really could be taken from just like fundamental things. And Team Scorched felt like an attempt to do that. Or even what's the one where headshot damage is like super high? Momentum, yeah, where it's like that kind of feels like it feels like SWAT.
It's SWAT,
right. And it's like that kind of
there's some really weird guns that are good in that. Like, I had a kill clip outlaw viced scout rifle.
Oh, and you could just shred through people, I'm sure.
Yeah, people died in like 3 headshots, but then you get kill clip, and I think it 2 taps.
Yeah, and that was like
it was like that gun was shit in normal PvP, but in that game mode, lovely.
Well, and that's like Jade Rabbit was like that game mode was made for Jade Rabbit, and like it was fun just to really pad your kill count with things like that. Or that's how I got the catalyst done for what's the pulse rifle that shoots 5 rounds?
Vigilance Wing.
Vigilance Wing. I was able to get the Vigilance Wing catalyst done with momentum because it was just fun to like just completely dome people like so easily with it. It's like there needs to be more stuff like that.
Yeah, I think in place of like a proper like custom game Forge situation, which would be absurdly time consuming and difficult to implement, is just give us something like what, like, just to make another Halo analogy, is like the like custom fire team game modes where you could just there are like sliders. Just let us like have the option to just like change the sliders and adjust ammo counts and damage numbers. I mean, just even something like that.
Right.
As simple as just being able to change some numbers around would be a lot of fun, I feel.
Well, and I think that's what also births more game modes, right? Is if you find that if people are making custom matches, and then people are sharing it online of like, oh, look, everyone gave themselves unlimited rockets or unlimited swords, right? And then the rule is everyone's just running around swording each other. And then Bungie looks at that and goes, hey, that's not a bad idea. What if we turn that into a game mode? Now, because I think that's how Griffball got started, is like it started off with people like just using hammers on each other over and over again. And it's like it's so asininely stupid and ridiculous, but so fun that it's like, Map, this goes back to what we were talking about right at the very, very beginning, is like when the content droughts are at their worst, what keeps people coming back? It's PvP. And it's like even more so than that, there's the people that don't like PvP, but people like Griffball, even if it's dumb. Like, people like those game modes because you don't take it seriously. It's not like, it is fun. Like, imagine that in a video game, just having fun, and it like. So
I think just user generated content I think would rejuvenate the game tenfold. Like, it would be awesome. Like you're saying, I feel like Fortnite has a ton of game modes that like were birthed from.
Oh God, I've had that
user-generated ideas.
Game mode that's what is it? That's CS:GO or Valorant shoved down my throat by YouTube permanently over and over and over again.
That's funny. I'm thinking back to like, you remember when Overwatch came out with like Overwatch Workshop or something, and whatever it was called? I thought that was really cool, and that like rejuvenated my interest in the game for a little bit. Just being able, just like simple stuff of just let me make our own game modes and stuff like that. I think it would be very, very cool, and it doesn't have to be like super in depth or complicated or whatever.
No,
but
well, then I tried to play Hardline. Hardware, where there's no, it's like just guns only, right? No abilities.
Oh, you were gonna say Battlefield Hardline.
No. I think that's why my brain said Hardline. But I played Hardware Supremacy, and it was fun. But there was like 9 people playing. Like we couldn't even get full matches because it's just like. But it's like it's something different. At least it's like you're playing the game in a different way and engaging like, and it just like. I don't know. PvP is one of those things that I think really does keep this game alive in weird ways, and and we've talked about this ad nauseum, but it's like they don't do enough to like iterate on it, and so this all goes back to like
we were saying hopefully that them saying that they want to do stuff with the core game modes,
right?
Not only the PvP strike team if they're still there,
right?
Some of the people making the seasonal content that are now doing core game mode stuff, that includes PvP. It might not, but
yeah. Well, and I think what they need to do is they need to start developing seasonal activities that they can turn into core game modes. Like I said, Onslaught is definitely one of those, and I really wish something like the Coil stuck around and that they could iterate on it and add more bosses and add more rooms that kind of split off, where it's like you build this great skeleton and then just abandon it for like your seasonal thing. And it's like people liked the Coil. It was rewarding, that's part of it, but it was also like it got progressively harder and more interesting, and there's some replay value. Going back to Challenge of the Elders on D1, right? They had that thing for a while where it was like who could get the highest score, and they'd post it on TWAB, and there was like that one group of guys that like every week would get like an astronomically high score because you had those weird multipliers where it's like headshot damage is worth like 8 times as much or whatever, and you'd have all these like, okay, you kind of like you purposely sabotage the first 2 like rounds, and then that 3rd round you just get like a shit ton of points, and like that there's replay value in there. You're gonna have people logging in if you have a weekly some kind of competition, right? Like that had people going for a really long time for a stupid update to Prison of Elders, right? Like that was reskinned content, and it was super well received. And like
just to point out, there is a finisher this season for the Dawning called Cooked.
Is there really?
What does it look like?
It just spawns in the Eververse oven, and you just kick it at the person.
That's kind of awesome.
You like awesome. Your character like leans back and does that, and it sort of spawns in the oven. Like it matches one of the elements: strand, stasis, arc, solar, whatever, void, and then you just kick it at them. Cooked.
I think the game just needs just a newfound emphasis on fun.
Yeah.
Just refinding that spark that makes video games fun. It's very simple, but anyways.
And
anyone
have
else
it
have anything to add?
And have it not be astronomically like broken all the time too. I know that's like not a small ask.
Having things work is nice.
But like it is getting to the point where it's like Tether still doesn't work in Vesper's host, right? Like that is
still?
Yeah, it is insane. They said they were hoping to have something scheduled for like November, but the problem's like way deeper than blah blah blah. So it's not coming out till like January. So it's like almost the entire duration of the season. God. It's unusable, and it's like it's once.
All right, if you're expecting changes over the Christmas period,
I'm not.
I know, but the changes should have. I'm saying to people watching, if they're sitting there,
Vesper's host came out
in
October?
They haven't changed anything this week. It's like, because it's the Christmas holiday. They are people. They need a break.
Yeah, no, completely agree. It's just like it's just stuff like
it wasn't at you. It was at people's.
But it's just stuff like that where it's like, you know, this has just been a really interesting season for bugs of like between the wait perk gate nonsense and now the revelation that the tonics were not working and then Tether's still busted and the dawning, right? It's just like one punch after another of just like one punch. You know what? Yeah. No wonder people aren't logging in and playing because they're just like, this isn't worth my time. This game doesn't respect my time. I'm gonna go play something that does. And there's a lot of stuff out right now. There's PoE 2, or not Prison of Elders, but Path of Exile.
Prison of Elders.
Well, this is PoE Part 3 basically. And there's Marvel Rivals, and I'm sure like when the Game Awards comes out, people will get all excited and hyped up for all the stuff that they announce. And I'm gonna go back and play Borderlands now and like all this stuff because. You know, so it's like, and
I'm playing stuff that I like wanted to play years ago and never played. Like I just finished Far Cry 5.
Yeah, I'm playing.
Game's awesome.
I discovered there's this really badass mod for Diablo 1 that kind of like redoes like everything and makes it like work for modern computers. So I've been playing Diablo 1, and Counter-Strike 2 with one of my coworkers because he's like, I used to play CS when I was a kid, and I was like, yeah, so did I. Let's get pwned on by like 18-year-olds that bag us like after every match. Like I'm totally fine with that, but it's something else, right? And I think it's like you said, Scotty. Like we hear this every year of like, oh, Destiny's dead. It's like, no, it's not dead. There's just other stuff right now, and this is a good time, right? Like there's a little bit of a content lull. In a couple weeks, there's going to be the third act, and there's going to be a new exotic mission, and people are going to play it for a couple weeks, and that'll kind of hold us over until the end of the season. Like it is what it is. We're not dying.
Yep.
Go.
It's not going anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
It's just that time of year.
Yeah. Yeah. Steam numbers are low. They're the lowest they've ever been. But who cares? Like, there's other metrics, and go. Hopefully, you can bake cookies. But if you can't, sorry.
Sorry. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. And you can. You can bake cookies for your ghost because he's going to be the vendor for next, like that's the new cookie recipe that we're going to have next dawning is whatever the pale heart vendor is, and it's going to be your ghost, so you're going to bake ghost cookies or something
for a entity that has no mouth and cannot eat anything.
Well, do you really think like Eris Morn's eating cookies? Do you think
I think secretly
what's your favorite character from Neomuna? Nimbus. I don't think Nimbus is eating cookies.
I love Nimbus.
Nimbus.
I have a little like friend group chat and just for like Destiny and stuff, and it's called Nimbus Fan Club.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I know this sounds really weird and it's going to sound like a really odd thing to say, but I'm at that age where I don't care. And like, if you don't like Nimbus, you don't like Nimbus, but I don't care. I don't care enough to dislike a fictional character,
right?
If you know what I mean. Like,
but it's so funny. It
feels no, not in that way. But the people are like, oh, it really boils my blood that there's Nimbus. And it's like, I don't care. All right, you know, go off, I guess. But like, I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, and it's like you don't have to engage with it either. Like it's
no, I don't. But like, people I've spoken to are like fucking hate him. Like, meh.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's less of a Nimbus problem and more the fact that Nightfall was
right. Exactly. Just guilty by association.
A misstep.
Sounds like a skill issue. I can't
lie. I can't not look at that.
It's so funny.
And that needs to be like my icon or something for Discord. It's just the face is just
for a little bit.
I know.
It's so good.
It's so good.
All right. Anyways,
I can pull that face, but it takes a while to get.
Yeah. And on that note, go play the Dawning, go farm Contest of Elders, or don't. Yeah, if you can't, maybe it's still bugged for you. Go craft some tonics, and because now it actually works, and now you can get that Exuvier with Headstone Rhyme Stealer that you've always wanted. Onslaught's great. Play it. Contest of Elders, it's fun. Just doesn't have the same replay value. I think they did fix the chest, so it's a little more rewarding. But
it's worth playing once.
It's worth playing. It's fun. Like yeah, it's just
It's worth playing.
Don't hate the game. It's just in a weird spot right now, but keep giving it love. And if you see Scotty playing, he can actually load up within a reasonable time, and it won't take him.
Yeah, so you can play with me now.
Yeah.
Yay!
So.
The frame rate difference too. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's life changing.
It is legitimately life changing.
You know what you need to try to do if you have a monitor that can support it. Turn on the 120 frames on PvP. It'll like change your life.
It should be automatically on.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to check that.
Yeah,
it's
pretty rad.
Thanks for listening, folks. Thanks for watching or wherever you're streaming this. I'm gonna put this on YouTube. But thank you for hopping by.
Better put it on before Christmas because
I will be up before Christmas. Yeah. I'm going to like not edit it super well. I'm just gonna put it up so it's up before Christmas.
Yeah, the VOD should be pullable from Twitch and all that. So
exactly. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and all that
Christmas
stuff.
And yes, Happy Holidays. Hopefully people are happy and not sitting there seething at home. Don't do that.
Here's hoping.
He's hoping. Seething at home at Christmas.
No.
He's hoping they're seething. I hate them. They can do one.
It's got real dark and negative all of a sudden.
Very poor, very poor.